Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing today? Well, before I even bring that share screen on, I'll stick to myself for a few minutes. It is your Bound for Glory review show. We are live. We're kicking back. We're going to talk some pro wrestling. We're going to discuss a few things. So we're just going to chill back and we're going to talk some wrestling. But how is everybody? How are y'all doing? Let's just talk some wrestling, eh? Because that's what this channel's all about. See, what's up, my sister from another mister? How are you doing? It's good to see you. And it's gonna break her heart when I have to reveal what last night's result is, but at least give her this. And don't you dare say yeet. Check out impersonation, by the way. It's actually quite funny. But it's a nice attempt. It was a nice attempt. Fucking do it. What's up, Catherine, as well? Good to see you. Guys, thank you all so much for checking in. Last night's preview show hit 100 views. We gained a couple more subscribers last night. I did some writing for the art, like for the review on the channel. I mean, I did as much as I could before I went to bed, but I'd done just under 2,100 words, so I'm not finished yet. But I'm certainly going to keep going. James, my man, hello, good to see you. Thank you for commenting on one of the posts. I really do appreciate it. Just you ask me when you come on. Time, place. Reach out to me. Fucking hell, woman. Just kidding. Whenever you want to come on, you're more than welcome, and you can definitely give that rendition. We have 10 matches to review. We have some hot takes, some controversial takes. We have some opinions, and we also have idiots to call out on. So there you go. Course. Hi, of course you can. You can absolutely come on the Crown Jewel preview. Actually, to be fair, I might end up doing a watch along. And I can slander Cody for free. Just kidding. I've got no interest in slander because I have all these fucking fan base after me, and I've got no interest in that. They already give me enough pain as it is. Double strength juice, and it tried to kill me. 3.5 minutes in. But yeah, last night, well, first of all, the clocks have changed, so I'm healthy and I'm alive. Sort of. I am here for the Ash match review. I know you loved it. I was hoping to just go a whole show without bringing that up. Does everybody want to hear what I've actually put inside the article I've written for what I've said about this match? Does anybody want to hear it, or would you rather I just do the review? Does anyone want to hear what I wrote? Bear in mind, I'm very creative when it comes to words and what I'm putting together. I was not particularly kind. All right, James has said let's hear it. So James, this is just for you specifically. So 2031 words, and I need to go all the way to the end of the second page. And I've even gave it a rating. So this is what I've put for a match that was 8 minutes and 42 seconds. Oh dear. This match is a combination of both TNA and WWE talent as the partnership continues between both organizations. It is not expected to be a world beater, but it can certainly get the crowd started, and to their credit, these four women had the crowd on their side. The match contested for just under 9 minutes, bell to bell, and that was completely fine for the pacing. A pre show match has three specific roles. Number one, excite the crowd. Number two, increase the attention for the main show for promotion and pay per view buys, because that's what pre show is all about. It's supposed to get more buys. And number three, give a good showing for the talent involved. So that's the three expectations I'm looking for a pre show match. And this is where it changes. This match would fit that expectation, but does have drawbacks. It does have drawbacks to it. One, and I say this and being completely honest, it does nothing for Xia Brookside. She is stuck in a feud with someone that does not offer her any chance to progress unless the next match is a definitive ending, as Ash by Elegance is just not the right opponent for her. And quite frankly, she never has been. Xia should be working with someone else like Alicia Edwards or Rosemary. It would be better, and Ash can work with someone else. Brynley Reece gave herself a relatively good showing. It's the first time I've watched her, so I will not critique her harshly, but I think she's still relatively inexperienced and should not have been Zaya's tag team partner. They have good chemistry, but the match experience showed when Zaya has better time in the ring and Brynley does not, but she got the crowd going. They liked her, and for that I am glad to say the least. Heather by Elegance undergone her change from Heather Reckless, donned an angel gear, and Ash was in a devil attire, while Zaya and Brynley matched in sky blue. Was good to see a contested match for attire in this match because that is something else to strongly associate with, and that is what tag teams do. They at least grasp a good fundamental of matching the other or being a strong opposite that catches the eyes of the crowd. All four wrestlers managed that. Star ratings are for other content creators or wrestling outlets. I'm just going to be straight up and say this match was fine. It was not great. It was not terrible. Heck, it wasn't even bad. It was just fine. I gave it a D minus, probably because of Dana Brooke, but who knows, eh? But it was, well, wank. It if I was being brutal, if I wanted to be more brutally honest, and I don't want to be, I want it to be fair when I review these. I would have said it was absolute dog shit, but it wasn't. That would be lying, and I'm not going to lie. But one thing is for sure is Dana Brooke can't wrestle. She can't. She needs to go work at Hooters or go work in a different industry and take Liv Morgan with you. So, this show was the highest attended gate Bound for Glory since 2013. Just over 3,000 capacity, because obviously they did have this does seat 3,000, but there was more in the attendance, so it was a sellout crowd. The crowd was very good all night. There was only one or two moments where the crowd were a little bit silent, but to be fair, when you look at it, they still gave some enjoyment to the fans. And I think from the fans to the talent back to the fans, and that's very important. I think that's what you want to enjoy in the slightest. If you don't enjoy that, then why bother? I said before this match, and I said it quite poignantly on the preview last night, if you want a pish or need one, this is the match to do it. Even though it's the very first match of the entire event, including the pre-show, I would have went for a 10-minute one, and I wouldn't have missed anything important except Xia Brookside. Please free her from the absolute hell that is Ash by Elegance and the concierge. Generally, do not know why TNA have gave them a contract. Please release them. I am begging you. I am begging you. The Before we go into the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which was the second longest match of the card, I'm going to talk about the inductees into the TNA Hall of Fame, and I'm just going to give it straight off the bat. It was nice to see the kind words from Eric Young for Bob Ryder, who sadly no longer alive. However, he did have a very important startup when TNA became an organization. The infamous fishing trip from late 2001 going into 2002. At that time, it was New Japan who were a couple of years away from re-establishing themselves, but still like in a different way. But they were still a strong outfit. You had the indie promotions. Ring of Honor was about to come up, but you didn't have another American promotion as WWE had swallowed up WCW. Bob Ryder, on a conversation with Jerry Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett, proposed the idea of a new organization that would give talent and fans a different idea, a different way to go, where opportunities still exist and you can make a name for yourself. And they did. They certainly did. And it was his idea to do the weekly pay-per-views as well, is what they used to do instead of weekly TV. And I thought that was genius. It was ahead of its time. And it lasted for 2 years. TNA at one point nearly did go out of business, but they held firm. Obviously, Panda Energy got involved. You then got Dixie Carter, who sucked everyone off backstage because she's a clown. But she got invested as much as she could to keep this company going, and the fan base grew. Loyalty strikes. Talent was well regarded. They believed in young talent. There was a mixture of experience that kept the company going. It was great to see. And without TNA, I would have exited pro wrestling a long time ago because WWE at that point was just woeful, and there was nothing realistically keeping me in. But then you had young talent like Amazing Red, AJ Styles. You had Juvito Guerrero reestablishing himself. You had Psychosis changing things up. Scott Hall had a new lease of life before he eventually just disappeared for a while. Jeff Jarrett was holding the company down, but he was actually doing it for the sake of the right reasons. You then bring in Monty Brown. You've got the Monster Abyss. You've got AMW. You've got Team Canada at the time, who then all split into different things, and then you brought in established veterans. A couple of years down the line, you bring in Christian Cage. Randy Savage had one match. You bring in Jeff Hardy for your 2-year anniversary show. You've got You've got Christian Cage as well. You've got Kurt Angle. Samoa Joe would come in. Jushin Thunder Liger would be Samoa Joe's first Bound for Glory match. Incredible. Like this is pro wrestling lineage. And fast forward all these years, and Bob Ryder's legacy has continued, and it's beautiful. And the words were amazing from Eric Young, and it's just a shame that Bob Ryder had no immediate family, there to watch him be inducted. That was the sad part. I'm not one for tears, but it did have me feeling emotional. And I say that with truth. Imagine having such a legacy and you've got no one. That would hurt like hell. That would hurt like hell. James, in regards to what I said about the Ash by Elegant match, not going to disagree with you there. I watched that back, and I wasn't that enthusiastic about it. It sent me half asleep. Yeah, it was rubbish. 100%, both well deserved to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. Speaking of Hall of Fame inductions, is it wrong to criticize someone's Hall of Fame speech? And I don't say this in a way to attack a company, but I thought Rhino's speech was very weird. Like, rightly so, he was thanking people for his inclusion, and I completely support that. But TNA stood by him longer than WWE did, and yet he thanked WWE more than TNA. Now, I'm not taking that in a way that it's an insult to TNA, but when WWE got rid of him because they didn't see a world champion in Rhino, TNA made him NWA World Champion very quickly. Now, obviously, he only held the title once, and it only lasted a couple of days. But you have to look at, like, they also stood by him with his alcoholic addiction, his personal issues behind the scenes, like, and they made him do all that on TV. I know that was horrible, but they still did. They still stood by him. They brought him back on 3 separate occasions. And I just think if you're gonna induct one company more than the other, I think it's a little bit harsh. But the names of who he thanked and who he credited for his career and standing by him in the business, I absolutely don't disagree with. The likes of Jim Cornette, the likes of Paul Heyman, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, Tommy Dreamer, who really, really looks awful. Heath Slater, lovely things he said about him about his brother, like, and what Heath Slater did for his brother. Like, that sort of stuff really is moving and beautiful. Like, that for me is important. Sandman got a mention as well, like, but he constantly kept thanking the WWE family, and he thanked Triple H. He barely gave you anything, mate. So it's absolute weird. It's just weird. That's just my opinion, but I'm glad Rhino got inducted anyway. Rhino was amazing. I've got no hatred towards Rhino. I just find it quite weird. If TNA was never around, Rhino, I think, wouldn't have been in the business that long. Me neither. Rhino, if you actually look at it, he only had one good WWE match, and that was against Chris Jericho at SummerSlam 2001. That was it. He only had one good match. Do I think his match against Chris Benoit on the Raw draft show was good? I thought Benoit was good, but I think Rhino just didn't look right. Rhino in ECW was incredible. Rhino in TNA was great. In WWE, he wasn't used well. Like, it was like they didn't want to use him at all, or they didn't know how to use him. But that's not me slating him. That's not me in any way attacking him. It's just a fact. Like, even his tag run with Heath Slater in WWE was okay, but it was better after he left. That's just my opinion, of course. But if anyone disagrees with that, feel free to try and oppose it. I'm more than open to listen to people's opinions, but that's just what I think. But hey ho. So we are going to move on, and we are going to talk about this. Ironically, Rhino had one of the biggest pops of the night, biggest crowd reactions, obviously being in Detroit. But he also had the most eliminations in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. He was looking for a 4th win. This match was good, but it had, again, drawbacks. I'm going to write them in the article as well that I'm putting up, obviously, like the pay-per-view written review, but the verbal review, I'm just going to nail it on the head right now. This match had 0 surprise entrants. It was purely just anyone still on the roster. There was no returns or anything like that. Now, for a gauntlet on your biggest show of the year, even to open the show, you would think that you would have maybe 1 or 2, even 3 surprise entrants. Now, you've got partnerships with WWE, you've got partnerships with AAA, who are all registered for this show. Why isn't there maybe 1 or 2 talents from each promotion in this match as well? You know, just to give it a little bit extra buzz. There wasn't. It was just TNA talent. Now, albeit it's nice to see TNA talent get more showcase, but if you're supposed to be in these partnerships, you'd think that maybe you'd do them a little bit better. Now, this match went just under 27 minutes, but when you look at the names of who entered, only, like, in terms of actual numbers, and I say this respectfully, in terms of numbers on the card, there we go. In terms of on the card itself, there's only New signing Casey Navarro, Trent Seven, who's returned after 3 months, Sammy Callahan, Hammerstone, who is built like a brick, Trey Miguel, who is phenomenal, Zachary Vance, who's awesome, Jake Something, who's still been around for a while, Rhino, who's been in the company 3 times, Leon Slater, who is an incredible young talent, Joshua Gresham, excellent young talent as well, not young talent, excellent technical talent, but he's still young enough to carry on in the best way, and if you push him properly. AJ Francis is just rubbish. JDC, as you'll know him in WWE as Fandango, he didn't do anything. Tasha Steeles was too busy getting pile driven after twerking. Li Ying Lee, the best thing she did was get clotheslined by Kazarian. Bhupinder Gujar didn't do anything. Like realistically didn't do anything. Laredo Kid, he was so disappointing as well. Rohit Raju, nice to see him back. Didn't do anything. John Schuyler, nice to see him back. He had a few good moments, but apart from that, didn't shine. So when you look at it, this match screamed an obvious winner because they didn't even bother. They didn't try. And I agree with James. This was the big disappointment for the no big returns or no real surprising debuts. This match should have ended with Hammerstone versus Kazarian. Even though Hammerstone is a heel, but at least it's somebody who's a little bit more formidable for Kazarian, or even Trent Severn, or Leon Slater. Like Leon Slater versus Kazarian to end it would have made more sense. But no, they wasted it. I'm glad that at least Rhino got to the very end as a Detroit home state member. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to see him to go the distance. But apart from that, what else are you getting? It was sloppy behavior. It was sloppy. And TNA in that way, on a creative basis, should hold themselves in shame for that. Now, you may be thinking, he's a TNA fan, so why is he shitting on it? Why is he shitting on this company when he's a TNA fan? Well, I am a pro wrestling fan, but I also won't lie. The pre-show ended with Kazarian getting what he wants, and at least it ties into a story on the card. But the pre-show quality only had two good talents, and that was Kazarian, and who actually turned up. Kazarian and Xia Brookside from each match were the only two that turned up. But that's where it ends, at least for now. Because what you got instead on this opener of the main show was TNA's match of the year, or at least contender. A contender for their match of the year, if not the match of the year for TNA. Mike Bailey versus El Hijo de Vikingo. Now, I wasn't sure if it was going to be because they haven't wrestled each other in quite some time. I wasn't sure if it was going to be as good as their previous standard of match. But they went overboard and proved me wrong, and I like both these talents. As I've said on last night's show, I am a big fan of both. But I absolutely loved this match. This was exactly what I said it was going to be. It was heavy hitting, it was fast paced. It gave both talents the opportunity to dictate the tempo and prevent the other from gaining a long standing advantage. There was one moment in this match that really stood out, and it was Vikingo's apron, his apron Canadian Destroyer. Mike Bailey looked dead after that. Like he sold that like he'd been shot. It was fantastic. The match itself, I think, was a little bit under-timed, but I think just being below 15 minutes is fine, but I wanted this to get a little I said last night I wanted 15 to 18 minutes because of the 2 talents involved. Even though it was less than 15 minutes, it was exactly what I was hoping for, and I absolutely loved this match, and I'm gonna say right off the bat, this was a B+. I don't care about star ratings, I'm just gonna go from A to E or an F, depending on talent. You might hear a talent get a grade F on this show, by the way, you never know. Ash by Elegance, F. But this was a B+, and it had the crowd gunning for the whole show, and I was really happy for them as well. Like, that's what I liked, especially when the X Division title this year has not particularly had as many great matches as it deserves. And that's because when you look at the talent in the division, they're mostly going up to the heavyweight division, and that's really stalled it a little bit, and it's made a few talents stale. So that's what was nice to see from that way, is at least Mike Bailey got to defeat Vikingo, but then the plus side is following this match, it's being confirmed for this week's Impact that Vikingo will be on the show. Who he'll be up against, I do not know, but I am looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing who they've got in mind. Because he is one of the best talents to come from Mexico. Unreal talent. Unreal talent. Up next, we have the match where I said we really need one decision to happen. Like, where something must be done. TNA couldn't afford to have a mistake here. And that was the Knockouts Tag Title match. And it was exactly what I was praying for. TNA contracted talent should not be losing their championships to a WWE talent. And we were saved from that. Jody Fred, Danny Luna worked really hard. I think Rosemary gave a good showing, again, proving why she's one of the most reliable talents in TNA. I thought Wendy Chu actually was not so bad, actually. She was actually giving herself a good showing on NXT. I think their tag team as a dynamic does work really well, like the macabre, sinister type feel of each other. Like it works, and I think the problem is they're separate organizations. I think if they were both on this in the same place full time, it would allow them to have better run. Basically, I think it would be a lot better in that sense, but it's not going to happen. This match, for what it was worth, it didn't feel like 10.5 minutes. It did feel like it was a little bit longer, but that's because I just think they were trying to find their footing, but also the work of Danny Luna is incredible. Like, she is one of the best talents to come from the UK. Jodie Fret isn't too bad herself, let's be real. Like, she fits well with Danny Luna as a tag team. Like, they're both bigger, stronger, like competitors compared to Rosemary and Wendy Chu, but as a match, the dynamic fit, and obviously they would defend the titles against Rosemary and Wendy Chu successfully. And then post match, Rosemary would spear Wendy Chu, and I couldn't help myself. I put up on Twitter that Rosemary has speared Wendy Chu back to NXT, but speared back to her because I have a feeling that they're now just going to follow this up as a story. I think they're going to hold that up as a storyline. They're going to carry it on as much as they can, and I wouldn't necessarily be against it. either. I think it was something that Catherine said last night, and this is what needs to be reaffirmed, and this is what something that people need to remember. A partnership is at its best when the talent isn't being poached. The talent is being used properly. So if talent goes from one show to the other and then vice versa, they shouldn't be going there to get poached. They should be going there to represent the company they work for, but still deliver good wrestling matches, good storytelling, and develop feuds properly. The spear at the end of this match is a good start. There is no need to poach talent. Just bring them in from show to show on appearance based, and just let them go at it. It works well. I have the same reiterated comments for other talent that's on this show, but I crucially employ from a perspective that people may have is just because your favorites lost but they're eyeing another promotion doesn't mean they have to go there full time. They can go there on an appearance base but still fulfill their obligations and their commitment to the company they represent. Now that might sound like a dig at a particular talent in question. It's not a dig, but it does sum up how I feel about one of the matches that I previewed last night, and the result, ironically, happened. Or better yet, both results happened. I said about two matches where talent have their eyes on WWE. You go there, you're just going to lose your push where you are right now. But we will get to that. But that's what I'm thinking. I like this tag match. If I had to give it a grade, I would say C. I would say a grade C. I actually think it was very well done. I liked who was involved. I liked the way they went about it. I liked the fact that this tag team, even though it was short lived, it went out in the best way. It went out on a pay-per-view with a brutal attack. And it was almost like a statement of, you lost, don't fuck with me. Because I will hold no losses acceptable. We must win. And I liked that. I thought that was really well done from Rosemary. She took the loss badly, the way you should, but it was a good result for Jodie Fret and Danny Luna, who have continued again to showcase why they are two exciting women's wrestlers. So congratulations to them from last night. Up next, though, following this match, was the match that I thought was going to be the match of the night. I'm going to say this now. I was badly wrong. Not because I wanted to be, not because I choose to be, but because other matches stepped up bigger than what they were supposed to be. This for me was the match barrier, and you had to top it. You had to physically top this match to be match of the night. And for 14.5 minutes, you had two of the longest serving wrestlers in the company beat the living piss out of each other, utilize their own moves against each other, and not lose focus. Josh Alexander, I've said it numerous times on this podcast, and nobody is going to change my mind. Josh Alexander is a top 5 professional wrestler in the world. His engine, his engine particularly, to work any type of match, any timing, is incredible. His ring psychology is second to none. His variety of moveset to his persona is bang on. and he's got a great look. What holds him down is that this should have been much later on the show. Not because of what is following, not because of what follows it, but because Josh Alexander has been one of your main guys for the past couple of years. He should be towards the end of the show. And Macklin has certainly improved as well. I don't know what he's been doing behind the scenes in terms of training, working hard. Whoever he's training with, it's working. He would walk into WWE now, or AEW, or heck, he can go to New Japan if he wanted to. Same with Josh Alexander. And he is a credible, not incredible, a credible main event caliber contender. And Josh Alexander has got even better and better and better. He's fully established in the top 5. He's not coming out of it. James says, and I quote, "Ever since I got back into TNA, Josh Alexander is one of the talents I've been following closely." I agree. He's definitely at least top. He's at least in the top 5 professional wrestlers in the world. He is. And people are going to say, "Oh, it's biased because it's TNA." Well, it's not bias. Like, he would be the exact same anywhere. He's that good. Like, he is that good. Like, people say Chad Gable is the second coming of Kurt Angle. I like Chad Gable and I like the way he looks. He definitely wants to be like Kurt Angle. But for me, Josh Alexander matches Kurt's intensity and the humor far better than Chad. And I believe that strongly. He does. And that is fundamentally key. Now, Josh Alexander would hit 4 German suplexes on Steve Macklin. He would go for a 5th, but it would be countered. Macklin would hit 6. Josh Alexander hits a tombstone pile driver as well. He would dominate Macklin left, right, and center. You would see the C4 spike. He would then tie up. It was like ring wire that he had around Macklin, which basically took his arms away and his hands, so it was physically impossible for him to defend himself. Clever work since Alexander's turned heel, and he would win through the utilage of the angle lock or the ankle lock to be precise. An ankle lock submission win for the former world champion. I don't know what people think about this one in terms of rating, but I personally have given this a B plus. I've given this a B plus rating, and I will not be swayed on that. It was a very, very good match. It was very good. I liked it, and I don't think it's the end of the feud, but I'd like to see them go one more time. Who knows? Maybe they go again at Genesis, because Genesis has been confirmed to return in January, which is nice. January 19th. So we'll see what happens. I wonder where they put Hard to Kill, though. That's the only thing. I feel bad now because after that match, now I have to discuss this. This is the only match that I got wrong. In terms of predictions, I got this one wrong. It's the only match I got wrong on the night. Anyone want to guess what I thought about this match? Just before I speak, does anybody have a guess what I thought? Bingo. PCO versus Matt Cardona had the wrong result. It had the wrong result. It had thumbtacks in the mouth, and it had thumbtacks planted into the skin. Now, I do not like when WWE does it. I do not like when AEW does it. I am not going to be hypocritical and say I like when TNA does it. It was horrible. PCO, for the love of God, please retire. You suck. You are absolutely terrible. And why he's holding 2 championships in 2024, I will never know. It was already bad enough that Tommy Dreamer was holding a title at the start of the year. Now this bubble butt clown is holding a championship. It was horrific. He is on the level of Dana Brooke for grading tonight. He gets an F. Matt Cardona, on the other hand, worked as best he could not to have a bad match. Like, he actually tried everything possible to ensure that he would not get heavily criticized by me. That is the basis I'm putting on it. It was tiresome. Bringing in doors for weapons. Weird as fuck for a extreme match like Monsters Ball. Like, this match is one of the best TNA ever created. Like Monsters Ball, Ultimate X, Lethal Lockdown, Barbed Wire Massacre, Elevation X, Full Metal Mayhem. These are all great match concepts that they've either created or established from elsewhere. And this Monsters Ball is what you deliver at Bound for Glory. I told you, I'm fair and even when it comes to this company, because I love this company. But I'm not going to lie, this match was dreadful. It lacked other things. It lacked spark. It lacked passion. It lacked energy and enthusiasm. And it lacked Steph DeLander, who should have been here. Even at ringside. Like, it was awful. Cardona should have won. Or at least Cardona should have been, like, KO'd. Because he was pinned for a chokeslam and the PCO salt on the thumbtacks. Now, I don't mind thumbtacks as long as it's used correctly. But you put it, he was rubbing it off eyeballs, he was rubbing it off his skin, he was putting it in the mouth. Not even Mick Foley would do that. So bad. So bad. I'm not even going to be kind. I'm not even going to lie. This match was a grade F. It was pathetic. 13 minutes wasted. Either this should have been on the pre-show or it should have been on Impact. Matt Cardona should have had someone else. I feel sorry for him. I do. I feel sorry for him having to work with PCO. JW, hello. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream, my friend. Luckily, however, I may have got one match prediction wrong on the night, but then the next four saved my predictions. So here we go. This. I need to pose a question, and I want to get people's understanding. So I'm actually going to put it in the chat, and I want to see what people think. Because this man was one of the five that was outstanding on the main card. I want everybody to answer that question. Before I continue, I want that question answered. Because I think someone is owed an apology. Catherine has got it correct. James is spot on. Santana's a great worker. I was very impressed with Santana against Moose, to be honest. I've been impressed with him for a while. So here's the question. Why do content creators across the board constantly shit on Mike Santana? Oh, he's not good enough to be in AEW. He's not good enough to be in WWE. If he goes to TNA, he'll succeed because it fits him. No, Mike Santana's a great wrestler. He's had a phenomenal year, and people have shat on him for a long time. He has been fucking brilliant. How can you not say he's good? What is going on in their heads? And I say that with just I ask that in just a respectful way. What does Mike Santana have to do to get respect? Do you think it's time to talk about Santana World Championship picture? Santana versus Nemeth, I think, could happen for the world title. If not Kazarian. I think he needs to be in the picture. I think when you look at him, he's got a really good look. He's brown on the mic. He's grown a lot more on the mic as well. His singles work is better than when he was in a tag. To be honest, I think he's a lot better than he was in the tag team in LAX. I think that split was the right thing, and people said that Santana was a weak link. I think Santana has proven that he isn't the weak link at all. I think personally, and I say this in the right way, I think Santana shouldn't have been let go by AEW. I think AEW have made a mistake. I think they made a big mistake letting him go. Because they don't look into his style and career properly and realize how much of a good worker he is. Fickle and stubborn, some people are, absolutely. I think he took the blame for the split of Ortiz. What has Ortiz done? I can't remember the last thing Ortiz has done. I haven't seen Ortiz in a very long time. I think that says it all, don't you? And I also think that Santana bet on himself properly and he went and took a chance. And now he's competing or he's in contention for the TNA World title. Yeah, it has been quite a long time. It has been a very, very long time. Ooh, here's something if you're a Formula One fan, just outstanding by the way. Max Verstappen has been given a 20-second penalty in the Mexico GP, which is shocking. I agree. I've been an AEW fan for a long while, and I was shocked that Santana was gone. Yeah, me too. I wanted Ortiz to go because Ortiz was crap, and I wouldn't have said the same thing if he had come to TNA. If he had come back to TNA, sorry. I don't think he's that good. Poor Max. Not really. Exactly. Yeah, he's been given 20 seconds for dangerous driving against Lando Norris. Max Verstappen's a fucking weirdo. I'm the same, Catherine. I am the absolute same. I know it's off topic, but I think Verstappen will pack it in once the season finishes. He pretty much could. He probably could. And see if he does. I wouldn't blame him. He's done a fair bit for quite a while. But I think it's time he looks at other things. But that's just the nature of it. I think we're at the stage now where he is either being out he's being outfought on the track or he's not being supported enough. It's one of the two. That's what I think anyway. Santana would hit his 450 swanton. He would kick out of the spear by Moose, which is unbelievable considering how protected Moose's spear is. The fact that Santana kicked out was great. He would then hit spin the block, his spinning lariat, and he would pick up the pin. This was really good. I'm not going to give. I don't think it was an absolute amazing match, but it was good. And I think Santana and Moose have good chemistry in the ring. I like that they followed up the fact that it was Moose that took out Santana before some Slammiversary, which denied him the chance to be in the main event elimination match. I like that they followed up by getting to Bound for Glory by having Santana run through the system. The spin the block on JDC. When he hit spin the block on JDC and knocked him down, he turned around and walked into the spear. And then you got the kick out, which was really good. The crowd were shocked at that. It was really good. And it got the crowd pumping for Santana. I think as a fair rating, I'm going to give it a C minus. I think a C minus is very I think a C minus is more than adequate, and I think very fair when you do venture it in that shape or form. And I think that's very compelling considering the work involved by both men. I don't think you can go too high, but I don't think you can go too low. Does anybody have any thoughts on Masha versus Jordan Grace before I get into my own? Does anyone have any thoughts or views on this match? Because I have one way to describe it. Now, I'm going to be very, very biased about it. Yeah, kind of 100%. I'm going to go in the bat and I'm going to say this. When you look at timing, when you look at pacing, the interchangeability between near falls, the shock that Masha was the first woman to kick out of the Grace Driver in 2024. No one's kicked out of it this year. The fact that 2 years ago Jordan Grace wore white gear, Masha wore red. This year they've switched round. This year Masha wore white, Jordan Grace wore red. It was nice that they went back. The chemistry is perfect. No wonder these two are best friends. Like their chemistry forged in the ring, friendship forged in the ring is wonderful. I like the fact that Jordan Grace really was up for it as well. So was Masha. She proved herself again. The story coming into this was Masha has never beaten her one-on-one for the title in a title match, but also everybody that is in her path is being issued with the warrant of death that their career is done or their position in the company is done and they will have to change with the new established order. This match didn't get enough time. And yet it's the best women's match of 2024. This match and the next match collectively should have had this added to it. I would say I would have given 7 more minutes to this, and then I'd have given the 6 minutes remaining to the world title match. And it would have been an even better card than what it was. I will not overly continue to rave about it, but I will say this. The deadlift tombstone German suplex delivered by Jordan Grace on Masha Slamovich is one of the best moves of the year. It's one of the best delivered moves of the year, which caught people by surprise. And then it was straight into the Grace Driver. Well, actually, it was a Kryptonite Crunch, then the Grace Driver. Incredible. I was, I was, I was overwhelmed in the best way, and I fucking loved it. All right, Julio, how's it going? It was nice to see two women be used properly in a title match perspective, in a title match situation, a big match situation, and not succumb to pressure. They took it and ran with it. I'm going to give it an A. This is getting this match for me is a grade A. It was exactly what they needed for a division that is needing more talent added to it. Your two best talents are in the main event, and your main event did not fail. Your women's main event did not fail. And it was 100% the right decision because Jordan Grace has got her eyes on going, has got her eyes on WWE. You had to get the title off her, but you had to do it in a match that's actually good, not a match that sucks. And this match did not suck. It was very good, and I encourage people to go and watch it. I really do encourage you to go and watch it. Form your own opinions, of course, that's how it should be. But for me, I thought it was fucking phenomenal. Now for the funniest banner of them all. Say his name and he will lose. Nick Nemeth beat Joe Hendry. You want to know an absolute fact? That was the right decision. I said it on last night's show. If he's not the best, then he's one of the best, and that's Nick Nemeth in the world. Last night, he didn't disappoint. Now, Joe Hendry gave himself a good showing. And I'm going to critique each one for different things in a moment, but I am going to give praise individually and collectively. Nick Nemeth last night gave Joe Hendry what he did not have in the match with Ethan Page on NXT at No Mercy. He gave him the platform to dominate the match and take advantage and see if he can force a change. There was moments where Joe Hendry had the win, and he did. There was moments where he had the win in the bag, but he made fatal flaws that a babyface fundamentally is likely to do, should do, or must try and avoid. And we're going to go through it. So he is pandering to the crowd. Step one. He's got the crowd on his side when he needs to, when he gets certain near falls and breakouts. Step two. He has the crooked referee trying to screw him. And he gets clothesline from hell by JBL. Whereas Nemeth is from Ohio, so already in this match, the crowd don't give a fuck about him. In this match, he is being booked as the heel, and he leans into it despite being a babyface because he is in enemy territory. Because Detroit hates Ohio, and Ohio hates Detroit. It was nice to see Kazarian on two separate occasions try to invoke his shot gauntlet trophy and title shot to win the world championship. I love the abuse of power. I love that he tried a fast count. That is what a veteran does. A veteran who has it all in the bag and knows what he's doing, and his timing is impeccable. And I like the interaction at ringside between him and Joe Hendry, and he told him, "No, you've got a job to do. You're not screwing me." And then he gets hit with a famouser, and then that's when the fast count happens, but he manages to kick out. Excellent work. I kind of seen it coming, Nemeth retaining the title. I predicted him straight away that he wouldn't lose. He needs new material, but he's getting there. JBL appearing in TNA still looks odd. It does, but I will say this: it is nice that JBL is now pain free thanks to stem cell research. I'm glad that he is now pain free. I think he wants to come back in some form of capacity. I think he's going to accompany Nick Nemeth, and it'll work. It just screams like a good partnership. And I am certainly for it. I hope Nick Nemeth signs a new contract with TNA, and I hope he stays. And they should sign GBL and keep him. because they've got so much riding on it here. It would work. What's that? 2 seconds. That's weird. Okay, we're back. Just had a weird thing on my head. Sorry about that. There we go. Yeah, so where were we? The world title match. Yes. So the crowd was fully against Nick Nemeth last night, which is bang on. You're in enemy territory. Joe Hendry is like your key baby face. The crowd's firmly behind him, and you want to see him win. No, you shouldn't. For one, Joe Hendry I really like Joe Hendry, but he's made one problem. Joe Hendry already tweeted that he wants to go to WWE, especially he wants to be in the Royal Rumble. Now, his contract does expire in 2025. I personally think if you want to go and be in the Royal Rumble, then cool. I would much rather see you do it as a TNA talent on a long-term contract and you're invading the Rumble instead. I don't like the fact that he's doing it purely because he wants to be in WWE. I don't think necessarily he should be going either yet. I think he should go in another couple of years. Because I still think he can be a world champion in TNA. But right now, Nick Nemeth is a better star, a better wrestler, and a better talent than Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry needs at least another year before you can say, okay, let's make him world champion of this company. But if he's going to go to WWE, then why would you put the title on him? It's the same with Jordan Grace, who's already the Knockouts champion, but she's got her eyes on WWE when her contract expires in February. But she is already, and she asked for her contract to be shortened to go WWE early, which says it all for me. I personally think that if you don't want to be there or you're looking to leave as soon as possible, you shouldn't be champion. I think Jordan Grace should renew with TNA for another few years, and I think so should Joe Hendry, but they're not going to. And if they go, then fine. But you're going out the door at the wrong time. TNA are getting themselves back into good crowds, good attendances. They're revamping themselves as best they can. And you two would be key to that continuous growth. You leave now, you're backing out and you're dumping the company when they need you. I would wait another year or two, then go. Fucking love donuts. I think it's too soon. I think they should wait and then go. So I'm hoping that we see them stay another couple of years. And because I would like to see Joe Hendry still win the TNA world title. And I'd like to see Jordan Grace try and push Masha Slamovich. If Jordan goes though, then TNA must go and sign Megan Bain. Megan Bain is who I would sign if she leaves. I think she's the right replacement talent. She is excellent. I really do recommend you check her out. Now, the likes of Delta, Stephanie Vacour, Julia are in NXT now. But if WWE are so hell bent on getting the likes of Jordan Grace and Joe Hendry on NXT and Kazarian, then can NXT specifically allow WWE to use Stephanie Vacour, Julia, Roxanne Perez, who used to be in TNA? Let them use them as well for this Knockouts division. Let them have a chance to have some other top talent work for them whilst they re-establish the division. Now, obviously, WWE are not going to do that because WWE have no interest. But I personally believe they should. I personally believe it will show if they're willing to make this partnership work. If they don't want this partnership to work, then TNA get out quickly and just carry on your own way. Because at the end of the day, you've done this year on your own hard work. The ratings increase, the attendance increase is nothing to do with WWE. That's TNA's work. And I'm sick of people saying it's nothing. It's not TNA doing this. Well, it is. They've done this themselves. They deserve the credit. They deserve the hard work. And they've had 4 separate sellouts this year. 5 actually. That's all on them. And I think 2025, I'm hoping will be the continuation of their hard work because they deserve it. And bringing back TNA Genesis, I'm hoping is the start. It's great that a great old pay-per-view is returning, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, Destination X and Lockdown in a different way will appear as well. I doubt it will, but I'm hoping so. My fingers are crossed. Nick Nemeth in this match, great heel. He obviously does not see the interference from JBL, who punches his brother in the face. Stiff punch, by the way. He clothesline from Hell's Kazarian. He clothesline from Hell's Joe Hendry. Nick Nemeth would then win with the super kick and danger zone combination and retain his title. He will now realistically go into 2025 still TNA World Champion. And that would be, if he makes it to Genesis, then he would have been champion, well, since July. So August, September, October, November, December, nearly 6 months? That would be fine. If Nemeth stays around longer, keep Nemeth champion for as long as it takes. He's a good draw. He's a great wrestler. Build around Nemeth. Nemeth, Speedball Mike Bailey, Josh Alexander, Macklin, Moose, Santana, Chris Bay, who we're about to talk about. I would say Leon Slater. If you can keep him, Matt Cardona, Sammy Callahan, Zachary Vance, Trey Miguel, Hammerstone, Trent Seven, and Casey Navarro. Jonathan Gresham, I don't know. But there's at least 16, 17 talents you can build for your main event scene and your mid card scene. And it works. As long as you get them on good contracts. Get them on good contracts, show your faith, show your loyalty. You've still got Eric Young as well. Buy into them. The talent is respected. The fans love these guys. Give them that appreciation and that opportunity to run the place. It's what TNA was built on. Experienced talent merged with young talent, producing great feuds and great matches, and they're doing what they can. And Nick Nemeth is the right man to lead. He's the right man to lead them. Now, we're now about to talk. Oh, my match rating for Nemeth versus Joe Hendry. Overall, I'm going to give it a B plus as well. I'm going to give that a B plus. I thought that was a very good world title match and it worked. I liked what I seen. It just worked so damn well. If Grace goes to WWE, do you see Gresham going too? That's a good question. You know what? I don't think so. I think he stays. I think the opportunity had already been there quite a while ago and it was never taken. I think he stays. We might see him do crossovers against NXT talent, but I think he stays in TNA. I'm going to quickly share my screen because I want to, first of all, show this. This tweet I put up last night banged when it wants to show. So let me just get the... Look at that. That is crazy. This is, mind you, it's nostalgia. It's the Hardys. $12 1,500 views from this main event. I kept in my bookmarks because I wanted to just so I can go back and check like how it's banged, but still, 15 people have bookmarked this. It's a lot of likes, a lot of retweets. Catherine obviously commented because Catherine really likes my tweets. But my no, I apologize. This is all caps, but for me it was vastly improved, and this is one of TNA's best main events in years. But obviously, I said it was a fucking excellent main event. The Hardys have won the TNA World Tag Team titles in Full Metal Mayhem. Phenomenal. They were bound for glory, and they emerged victorious. That's because you're amazing, pal, and I will obviously support you. I loved this last night. I absolutely loved it. And it's not the best image, but that is such a good moment. Look at that. All the people that were telling Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy to get out of the business, telling them that they should retire, telling them that they're washed, telling them that they don't belong in pro wrestling in 2024. I encourage you to please reconsider that take. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm merely asking you to think about what you think about the Hardys in 2024. Now, I know obviously they've been wrestling since 1992. They cannot go like obviously the Hardys cannot carry on for more years. I get that. But when you're in a setting where they're comfortable, like comfortable in a way they're not going to get stale, they're not going to get boring, but comfortable where they're actually going to work safe, they're going to work hard, and they're going to deliver. They do show why they're still arguably the greatest tag team of all time. Depends on what you think. The Hardys are still one of the best going and one of the best ever. Did you see the IWC fuss about how AEW should have put the tag belts on them? They were until Jeff got trouble. Yeah, I saw that. WWE and AEW fans were going at each other over this. They were going to put the tag titles on the Hardys. That like Catherine is correct. Like that is a fact. The Hardys were going to be tag team champions. They were going to beat the Young Bucks as well. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was the Young Bucks that were going to take the titles off. It wasn't Young Bucks. It'd be FTR. It was gear made for them. And people were saying, Matt, why would you put the titles on the Hardys in 2024? They were going to. Like, Matt Hardy is still creatively clever. Like, Jeff Hardy is still going. Obviously, his nerves are shot, but he went 27 and a half minutes last night. When was the last time Jeff Hardy went more than 15 minutes to 20 minutes? When was the last time Jeff Hardy went more than 25? You want me to give you a clue? The last time that Jeff Hardy went longer than 25 minutes? Let me show you. I'm going to prove it to you in a minute. Oh yeah. If he stops the extreme stuff, if he limits it, he can get another 2 3 more years. Absolutely. Because then it'll stop it'll stop the risk of him getting in trouble. And we know why. I'm actually getting up his length of matches as well, just to prove a point. So let's see. So 27 minutes there. He went 16 minutes in September, 17 minutes back in August. Still looking, still going. He went just under 20 minutes versus the Young Bucks at Double or Nothing 2 years ago. They went 19 minutes, 15 seconds. 15 minutes against Matt Taven and Mike Bennett at MCW, which is really good, to be fair. 20 minutes in the IWC match against Duke Davis and Gannon Jones. So 2 years ago in April, they went 20 minutes and they won the titles. Then they went 17 and a half minutes against Flip Gordon and John Morrison at New Spring Slam. Really good match. So again, that's 2 years ago. So they went 2 years for going 20 minutes or more. WWE. His last 20-minute match in WWE or more. Depending, well, to be fair, it wasn't how long he was in it, but he was in the Elimination Chamber match. He was in the Royal Rumble again. Not even length of time. Not even for him. Just under 50 minutes on Raw with Randy Orton. 15 minutes against the Hurt Business. He was in that ladder match with AJ Styles and Sami Zayn 4 years ago. Remember that, which was really good. 26 minutes, 35 seconds. He had a 16.5 minute match on a premium a Backlash with Sheamus. Already proven the point, you know? When you give these guys proper time to work, it's bloody good. 36 minutes in the Elimination Chamber in 2019. He was part of the gauntlet that went 43 minutes on SmackDown. The Bryan Danielson match when he won in 12 minutes. Where's that Hell in a Cell match as well? How long did the Hell in a Cell go? Just double check him. Because it's not shown what I'm looking for. Yep, Hell in a Cell. He went just under 20. He was 7 seconds away from 25 minutes. So Jeff Hardy can clearly work these lengths of matches, and yet people don't buy into him. And I'm like, are you fucking stupid? He can still work. He can still go the right way. Yeah, he has a botch in him. He was always criticised for that. But he has never failed the fans in that way. They've always delivered. Being a big fan of the Hardys for such a long time, and to this day, they still perform at a high stage, considering Matt is 50 and Jeff is not far off 50. The two of them are in decent enough shape. Bingo. Bingo. Like, tell you right now, like Jeff Hardy, I'm pretty sure is a couple of years off it. Yeah, Jeff Hardy he was 47 in August. He's actually 4 months younger than my mum. Both the same year. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy, I'm pretty sure it is 50 now, yeah. Yeah, Matt was 50 in September. Like, come on, guys. These are still pros. Like Jeff Hardy's 2 years younger than AJ Styles. And they're both two of the GOATs. Or in the conversation of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not rocket science. Professionals will work if you give them the right environment and you believe in them and you don't fuck them about. AEW would have made Jeff Hardy a tag team champion. He would have won the TNT title. He may have won the international title. He unfortunately got in trouble. Past catches up to you. We all know that. Shit happens. But this match went nearly 30 minutes. And it was the best match the Hardys have had in many a years. ABC stood up. Ace Austin, Chris Bay, you were phenomenal, gentlemen. Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards did the right thing as heels. They stayed out the way. They let Ace Austin and the Hardys go at each other. And they came back at the right time and they were so effective as heels. They were using the environment properly. This is what happens when the booker lets the talent do the fucking job. This is the best TNA main event in quite a long time. This year they've had a few great main events. This match shot them out the water. Like, blew them out the water, pretty much. Blew them apart. It was incredible. Now, Jeff Hardy, we know he loves his ladder to a table swanton bomb. So we got that. There was a little bit of an odd moment where he tried to slide down the ladder and it backfired, but he bounced and he got a clothesline. Great recovery. The steel chair clash on top of the extendable ladder, which I've never seen a ladder like that before. Excellent. I like the fact that the whole reimagination of the Full Metal Mayhem match was literally just Jeff Hardy painting and designing the ring and all the weapons to look like his image. That was smart. And the fans, hats off to the fans. They were fantastic. They were. They were on their side. They bought into it. They didn't shut up for the whole match. This match was exactly where it was supposed to be, and I love the fact that Brian Myers did that high altitude spear on Chris Bay, and I put a tweet up saying it's shades of WrestleMania 17, and Chris Bay actually liked the tweet. He liked it, so you're already the man. I love the ultimate finesse cutter on Eddie Edwards when he was on the ladder. He done the springboard off the ropes and caught him in midair. Great move. The the double side effect from Myers and Eddie Edwards on the Hardys through the two tables at ringside. I like the fact the match went straight to the fans as well. When it started, they just evaded the ring. They went straight to the crowd. I like that as well. Get everyone involved. This is what this is my enjoyment of pro wrestling. Everything is important. Fans, the workers, the way it's booked, the dynamic of the show, the setting, having confidence in the talent to just express themselves and not interfere. And it was so good to watch. I'm sick of all the hate TNA gets. Could they have done a few things tonight, last night better? Absolutely. Not booking Dana Brooke or Ash by Elegance, whatever she wants to be now. Not booking PCO. Not giving Jordan Grace and Masha Slamovich at least 18 to 20 minutes. Not giving Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry 20 minutes plus. But everything else, the quality of the matches, only one or two of them you could say were generally bad. One was okay. One should have had surprise returns. Your triple main event was the right order. Women's title, into the men's world title, into the tag team main event. That was how it's supposed to be. That main event is an A+. It'll probably get shat on by other people because it doesn't fit their criteria. But I thought the match was outstanding. It gave me what I wanted. It gave me what I wanted. It gave me enjoyment. It gave me excitement. It gave me talent who had a point to prove. I didn't get the ABC splitting up though. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping that Chris Bay and Ace Austin would go their separate ways, but even better that they didn't, because now they can compete with the Hardys for the tag titles for as long as possible. The Hardys are a great champion. They're a great champion. They're a great title chaser. They're an experienced locker room team. They're good for the locker room as locker room leaders. Hats off to them. And I'm going to say this now. Matt and Jeff, Chris Bay, Ace Austin, Mike Santana, Masha, Jordan, Nemeth, JBL, Kazarian, and to an extent Joe Hendry, but he can do a little bit better. 11 talent out of a whole, maybe 30. And to an extent, Matt Cardona, you made Bound for Glory an enjoyable show. And I am so damn fucking grateful. And the fans as well. Thank you. 5 appraisals, 5 critiques. Match flow was good. The match or the Josh Alexander, Macklin as well, sorry, so 13. So match flow was good. The choice of arena was correct. Having the tag titles main event over the world title was bang on. Nick Nemeth retaining was correct. And Masha winning was bang on. 5 negatives. Certain bits of lighting on the central side at the back was poor. Having Ash by Elegance in a match, even on the pre-show. Tommy Dreamer not getting gored. Kazarian being denied a chance to do the call your shot, but it's actually a positive in the end because he'll have 2024 still, rest 2024 and 2025 to cash that in. And the last critique is WWE drones versus AEW freakazoids. The worst parts of of the WWE fan base and the worst part of the AEW fan base, because they were fighting last night about TNA's ranking in who is the best company or the worst company or whatever in wrestling. You had TNA, you had WWE fans, well, drones trying to say that TNA is the number 2 company in wrestling. You had AEW fans saying that TNA isn't even worthy of the conversation. And then you had TNA fans who are just like, we're just enjoying the show and still critiquing where it needs to be critiqued, but they're also praising where it needs to be praised. I'm going to shut this whole down right now. It doesn't fucking matter who the number 1 company is. It doesn't matter who number 2 is. It doesn't matter who's number 3, 4, 5, the lot. What matters, the talent has places to go to keep working and enjoying their job. Fans can see new wrestlers and get new people to enjoy when others go. It allows the business to continue doing what it needs to do. And it lets people like me just enjoy every bit of wrestling, but still praise and critique where it needs to be. Gatekeeping, stupid takes, and clown podcasters out there who are now being called out for some of the shit they say is what's ruining pro wrestling. Here are people who are not ruining pro wrestling. Bias, I'm not. Ailey, Catherine, James, my buds at Covalent TV, because they don't take anyone's bullshit either. A few buds that I know, like the guys at the weekly armchair. Rach, who's not much into wrestling, but what she enjoys, she enjoys. She's not ruining it. You've seen him on this channel numerous times, but he does like the odd bollock take about WWE being his bias. But to be fair, Jamie's not ruining pro wrestling. AO, TNA Hardcore. Yellowbone, TNA Hardcore. These guys aren't ruining pro wrestling. You want to know why? Because they enjoy what they want. They get behind what they want. They critique what they also like, by the way. And they hold others accountable. Now, I know I've said some bizarre shit on here. Oh, and another, a few other friends of mine that like pro wrestling, the likes of Billy, Abul, who's not here tonight, but Abul's another one. JW. These guys don't ruin pro wrestling because they know what they like, they know what they don't like, but you know what they don't do? They don't abuse these companies. They might absolutely slaughter the direction, and that's fine because it doesn't appeal to them, but that's because they want it to appeal to them though. See people that will literally get on their knees and suck off these bookers. Oh, Triple H is absolutely perfect. Gobble, gobble, gobble. People, Tony Khan is absolutely perfect. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Scott D'Amore, who has his pros and cons. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Muppets. Muppets like JD. Muppets like Jobber Nation. Those are the guys that are ruining pro wrestling. Because they want you to blindly accept what's out there and not like what you like. Don't take their shit. Don't let them destroy your narratives. Enjoy what you like. If you think Triple H, or if you think Triple H is a great booker and he is what you like, great. That's fine. That is fine. If you think Tony Khan is your perfect booker to what you like, fine. but don't say it blindly. Back it up instead of saying random things that make no sense. So here's an example. If you're going to say why they're a good booker, base it on the body of work and the storyline, not because of ratings. Because you can have great ratings, but is the show good? That's what you need to diversify. You could have really bad ratings one week, but you could still actually have a good show. It's the same with your it's the same with your content. Now, last night we had 100 people that ended up watching this show altogether. And we're almost 2 minutes away from how long that show went. An hour and 49 minutes, 40 seconds. We're at 1 hour, 47:15 right now. But somebody could tell me in my comments, in my live chat, that last night's show was bad. But see if they tell me why and where I can improve, then that matters. That's what TNA did last night. TNA made some mistakes, but they made some great booking decisions last night. And they delivered for the fans, and they delivered for people that are trying to get back into the company that left 10 years ago because of Hulk Hogan, because of Vince Russo, and because of Eric Bischoff, who is irrelevant in 2024. That is how you respond to Muppets like that. So you know what? Fair play to them. Fair play to anyone else that likes what they like and refuses to let anybody tell them they're wrong. Because at the end of the day, opinion is subjective. Everyone's got an arsehole. Everyone's got an opinion. Just don't be blind on it. No fucking clue, Catherine. I'm not gonna even think about that. But if he is perfect, you hit him up. I'm sure he'd say hi. JD has to call people idiots and dumb when they don't agree with him. Exactly. Look at Ailey. She disagrees with my opinions. Do I abuse her for it? No. I come back at her. We disagreed over Sami Zayn, and it was actually fucking brilliant. It was 20 minutes of back and forth. You don't have to agree with everybody, but at least hold firm to your opinions and your point of view. That's what's wrong right now with any industry, let alone pro wrestling, is people, when they are challenged on their own opinions, they can't back them up. I've been a wrestling fan since 1999. I am not changing my opinion on certain things. But I'll also praise companies where they get things right and where they get things wrong, because that's how it's supposed to be. I still enjoy it, but I'm not going to lie. Ricky Starks just showed up at Glory Pro. Okay. Can you send that to me just so I can take a look? Ailey and I have a love-hate friendship. Next time she's on, I want you to say that and see what Ailey says. It'd be great. So we hate each other's promotion, but love giving each other jabs. Yeah. And you know what's good about it? It's fun and it's welcomed, and that's community. Like, we've passed 200 subscribers after New Japan bombed my channel last year. We started a new channel on the same work, the same stuff, and we've came back and we're killing it. You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to be. It's having fun. If you can't have fun, then why bother? No, you don't. Exactly. You don't. And that's how it should be. If you've got to insult someone because they disagree with your opinion, then that says more about you than it says about someone else. Now I realise I just went into a rant when I'm supposed to be reviewing Bound for Glory, so I apologise to anybody. I didn't anticipate going into a rant, but I'm calling out people who refuse to just take accountability of what they say or what they believe, and they say things out of blind faith or bad takes. I know I've come up with mad takes, but I will at least try and prove or at least try and contextualize my point of view. But I'm going to say this is TNA's best pay-per-view of the year. It's their best pay-per-view of the year, but they also made some mistakes. But you know what's so good about that? You learn from them. You learn from them. The guy. Hello there, how are you? I think Vince Russo is underrated. You know what I'm going to say about this? And I respect your opinion, so thank you very much for coming into the chat. I'm going to say this. Vince Russo, for most of his booking career, since Attitude Era, to when he walked away 5, 6 years ago, maybe 7, Vince Russo did a lot of good for pro wrestling, and he did do a lot of bad. Now, great things that he did. He was one of the key frontmen behind the booking of the Attitude Era. He booked the Main Event Mafia in TNA. He booked Raven to win the World Championship when nobody believed in him as a world champion. He was the man who put AJ Styles in the main event scene and on the map. And he's also the reason that Bobby Roode won the TNA World title and was at the time the longest reigning champion. Things he did do wrong: the WCW title reset, going way over the top with his Sports Entertainment Extreme storyline in his first run in TNA, and when he exposed himself for returning to TNA, which caused them to lose the Spike deal in 2013, 14, 13-14 period. He said he was not under contract, but he was actually behind the scenes, secretly helping do writing for shows. That was a breach of trust, and the executives at Spike went and they terminated the contract. Now, Vince Russo does have a good mind for pro wrestling. The problem is at times he just cannot hold it for as long as it should, and then he goes way too far. Oh, another thing was obviously booking himself to win world champion. That was weird. And Bash at the Beach 2000. But he also gave guys like Benoit, he gave guys like Jeff Jarrett, he gave them a chance to go and be top main eventers. He booked Christian Cage to win a world championship twice. And he's the guy that's responsible for bringing Sting to TNA. I don't know about you guys, but he also deserves his flowers. He has his cons, he has his flaws, he has his positives. Just like every booker, just like every main person in writing. Dusty Rhodes is the same. Dusty Rhodes at one point was a great booker. What kept him down was constantly booking himself to be the main man when he shouldn't have been there anymore. And yet he was still doing great as a booker during the territory days. He just kept making himself the main one. I respect him more than Eric Bischoff or Jim Cornette. So do I. So do I. The guy, thank you for your great comments. Now, I'm probably going to go for about another 5-10 minutes. So if anyone's got any other questions, any other comments, please drop them in before I go. But honestly, if I'm going to give this pay-per-view a rating out of 10, I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's exactly what I thought it was gonna be. It was a great pay-per-view, but it still has a little bit of errors where there's room for improvement, but that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. It's not my favorite pay-per-view this year, but it's the best TNA pay-per-view of the year. And I really enjoyed it. James has come in with an 8 or an 8.5. Thank you for your honest comment, my friend. And I respect him more than Eric Bischoff. And then Catherine said here about 5 minutes ago that she's going to start calling Ailey Brock Lesnar. I will laugh if you call him. So if you call Ailey Brock Lesnar, I will laugh if he returns. Like I will laugh if you call Ailey Brock Lesnar and then he returns, say a couple of weeks later on Raw or SmackDown. It would be fucking funny because I would love to see her reaction to that, especially if it's him that returns to WWE. It would be fucking hilarious. So, me and Ailey have got Halloween Havoc next week to do. We're going to do Halloween Havoc 97 as a watch along. We've got our head to head roster back and forth that we were going to do. That's coming up in very soon as well. There is so much coming on this channel besides the reviews, besides more content, the watch alongs that we do. They're coming back. We're going to do a preview for Crown Jewel. We're probably going to do a match. We're probably going to do a watch along for it. Maybe 1 or 2 matches. We'll see. But that's the absolute key. If that happens, it will be the first thing on my mind. This pay-per-view on Cage Match has a 7.13 rating, and I think that's too low, and you have the same name. Really? What do you mean? As in, who's reviewed it? Or is there something else? Let's actually have a look at the... I've actually got it up right here, funnily enough. So... Alright, you're called Reece as well. Ace. So, let's have a look. So, a 7.13 rating. 29 votes, 15 comments. We're going to look at what were the better matches on the night. So there was no matches rated 0. 1 match was voted a 2. 1 match was a 4. You had 2 that were 5. 7 matches were voted a 6 and a 7. 1 was voted an 8 out of 10. 1 match was voted as an 8. 7 matches were voted 9. And then 3 matches were voted 10. So let's have a look. So from 85 votes, Viking Go versus Mike Bailey was an 8.5. The exact spelling. Love it. The Knockouts tag match out of 39 votes was a 4.67. Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin was a 7.16. The match I said there was an absolute terrible bomb. Was a 6.38 from 44. That was PCO versus Cardona. Santana versus Moose was a 7.24. 8.94 from 70 votes for Masha versus Jordan Grace. I gave this match an A. So that would, for me, would be a 9 out of 10. The world title match got a 4.5. I think that's harsh. I think that's because Joe Hendry didn't win. And then they've gave 6.05 out of 39 votes to Full Metal Mayhem. I think that's very harsh. That's so undervalued. That should be at least an 8. So we're actually going to look at some comments. So Brooke Savage has actually rated this a 9. Lady Snowblood gave it a 5. Joe Tom gave it a 9. Griffin gave it a 2 out of 10. I think I know it's people's opinions, and I'm not going to say his opinion's wrong, but I think some of this is a bit harsh. But it's his opinion. Maven Lover gave it a 7. He said there was an above average Bound for Glory that is duly vibe marred by the questionable result of the TNA World title match. See, it's all because of this. All because of that one match. Yeah, like this here. A very, very memorable night, but what should have been Hendry's night of ultimate triumph was sacrificed for an angle so bizarre and poorly done that it nearly defies belief or description. Whoever wrote this should receive a pay cut in a department, if not fired. So let me get this straight. He doesn't win a world title match, so you want someone to get fired? Fuck off. Wrestling Fan Lifer gave the show a 10 out of 10. Benjamin Franklin, UCW, gave it an 8. He's even reiterated the Canadian Destroyer, which was awesome. VJink gave it a 5, called it a mid pay-per-view. Benny Five Bellies said it was a complete and utter slog, gave it a 4. Ono Rub, I like this. TNA stays TNA from PR. They're not crapping all over Joe Hendry, but Jesus Christ, like people are so hell bent on just expecting things to just be given. Like, guys, this was Joe Hendry's first TNA World Title match, main event singles match. Does he deserve to win it first time round? He's been in 2 title matches this year, but did he have to win it first time in a first singles opportunity? No. No, he doesn't. Like, come on. I know it's your opinions, guys, but some of these are a bit extreme. It seems wild to me, you know? I think some people just want to just shell on any company. If this was AEW and done the same thing, I'd be doing the same thing to those people as well. If it was WWE to make it so extremely wrong, then I think that sums people up. I think some people are really good faith takes. Some people are very fair for what they say, but then some people just want to do anything they can just to think they look cool. Me personally, I'm just going to say it now. Ash by Elegance, out of 10. I gave it an F, so I'll be generous. I'll give it a 1 out of 10 because Zaya Brookside. The Collier Shot Gauntlet, 6 out of 10, but needed some special returns or even like a debut of some sort. 6 out of 10. Mike Bailey versus Vikingo El Hijo del Vikingo. 8.5. You were wrestling lifer? No way. See, I think at least you made some fair comments. But this is my point, is some people went too far. I'm getting that back up for a minute. I'm gonna reread your comment if you don't mind. Because I don't think you were as harsh as anybody else. I think you were very fair. Where's the lifers comment? Yeah, wrestling fan lifer. I'm going to share your comment again because you are the type of wrestling fan that I actually like listening to. You were the only one that gave it higher than a 9. This is wrestling fan lifer's comment one more time. This show was great, and I don't understand the negativity. The open match between Vikingo and Bailey was great, as you'd expect. The Knockouts Championship match was fun. The PCO Matt Cardona match might have been slow, but had typical PCO spots. Correct. Steve Macklin and Josh had a banger of a match. Now for the championship match of the night, Jordan Grace versus Masha. Probably the match of the year for the women. I reiterate that comment. For me, it was match of the year for the women. Then we have a polarizing match, Nick Nemeth versus Joe, a very fun match which gets too much hate, all because Joe Hendry didn't win and JBL coming out. This is an interesting story, and we should wait for things to play out. It's the same with tag teams right now, like Private Party in AEW. You're delaying Private Party winning the tag titles, but guess what? They're going to get their moment. You know? It's the same in WWE with Braun Breaker. He's going to get his moment, and he's going to run with it. He's doing it right now. The main event was very fun, with the Hardy Boys finally win the tag belts. Straight to the point. I like that. Fair review. I don't see any bullshit. I don't see any harsh criticisms. Not everyone's going to give a 10 out of 10 event a rating on a pay-per-view, but you know what? I'm giving an 8.5, and I'm a TNA diehard. But I like the rating here. I like the comments. I like the distinction of view. So where was I? Yes. So 1.5 for the knockouts match that opened the pre-show, because Xia Brookside was the only good thing. 6.5 out of 10 for the gauntlet. I'm going to give an 8.5 to Bayley versus 8.5 for Bayley versus Vikingo. Spitfire versus Rosemary and Wendy Chu. I'm going to give it I'll give it a 5.5. I think 5.5 is fair. Josh Alexander versus Macklin is an 8 out of 10. Santana versus Moose is a 7.5. Great performances all round. It just needed a little bit longer, so that was the only thing for me. Masha versus Jordan is a 9.5. I don't care. I'm going flat out. It's a 9.5. Nemeth versus Joe Hendry. 8.5. And the Hardys versus ABC versus the System Full Metal Mayhem tag match. You know what? I don't care. 10 out of 10. Oh, and Cardona versus PCO. 2 out of 10. Only because I think some of the shit they did really took it away from what it could have been. It could have been a whole lot, but actually not. 2 out of 10 is harsh. 4 out of 10. The women's tag match I'll bump up to a 3. I'm still giving the show an 8.5. You learn lessons. You go onwards. You do what you need to do. And that is the key. So with that, those are my closing statements. If you disagree with me. I'm okay with that. Because I'm going to respect your opinions. I'm not going to respect some bullshit takes, though. But I respect people's opinions. So at 2 hours, 9 minutes, 45 seconds, does anybody have any other questions before we depart for the evening? Oh, and also please do like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. Check out Princess L7 on YouTube. GE. Great show. Catherine, you're one of my favourites. You're one of my favourite people, and you're always here. Same with James, the guy as well, like new to the channel, new to the comments, but I'd love to have you all guys around. You should react to cage match ratings for people. So which one do you think I should react to? Which one do you think I should react to? Tell you what. This is what I'm going to challenge you on. So the guy or wrestling fan lifer, I'm going to challenge you. I want you to go and pick one person's comment and then put their handle in the chat, and then we will all react. And it will be honest live reaction. You go and find me one that you specifically want me to react to, and I will react. Whilst we're waiting for the guy, everybody, if you've got any other comments, drop them. Or questions, drop them. I think I think they're gonna work him heel soon. I think he's gonna turn heel. And I think he is gonna work with Joe Hendry again, or he's gonna work with Santana. I didn't really see any bad or negative things about being said about this pay-per-view. The one thing that pissed me off about this pay-per-view was people trying to say where TNA belongs in the ranking order of pro wrestling companies, and that it could have been done a little bit better, or the Joe Hendry tiers. And I'm like, well, Joe Hendry's a professional. He knows that he lost tonight, but he's going to get another opportunity. I think Santana should get the chance. Not saying he takes the title, by the way, but he deserves at least a shot. I think Santana will be TNA World Champion, and I'm all for it. I think he's been excellent this year. Like, I'm happy that he's found where he needs to be. Hendry fans are becoming like the Cody crybabies. Yeah, they are. And I'm a fan of Joe Hendry. I've met Joe Hendry. I had a great conversation with him. It was about 45 minutes talking about pro wrestling. And you know what? Honestly, he's a genuinely good guy. But he shouldn't have won last night. And it was right for him to lose. And I like the fact that it was involved through interference. I like the fact that JBL has had involvement. JBL was there when Nick Nemeth was ringside for Nick Nemeth when Nemeth lost the title to Alberto El Patron in Mexico. I think they are going to be a pairing, and I think it will work well. Joe, like Nick Nemeth is one of the best wrestlers in the world. JBL is one of the best heels of all time. Nemeth is a great heel. He's a great babyface, but put those two together, fucking hell, you've got something. I actually wonder what the partnership would look like if you have those two together. I'm actually hoping that they do it. I'm begging for it. What do you guys think about a partnership between Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry? The Undertaker, if you scroll down to the zero comment, you got it. Let's see what he said. See if I can find it. It would be money. Oh, it would be so good. Eights, zeros, fives, sixes. Where is his comment? I can't see it. I can't see his comment, sorry. Where the heck is his comment? I wonder if I change it to this, will I get if I just select comments, will it give me his comment up? There's another 10 out of 10 there in German from Dark Prince. Der Joker gave it a 10 out of 10. Where is this comment? I can't see it. Yeah, there was 3 10 out of 10s for this show, which I think is quality. Let's have a look at the average rating for this show is 7, as they've said, but we've got 7.3. The lowest rated comment is from Griffin at a 2. I can't see the 0 out of 10 rating Wrestling Fan Life. Or not, I'm not calling you a liar or anything like that at all. I'm just saying I cannot see this comment. Is there any chance you could copy it and paste it in for me? And then I can say it out loud, because I can't see it. It's not letting me see it at all. Why is it not? It's not letting me see it. If you got to rate a show 0 out of 10, then that is crazy. If you're going to say something like 0 out of 10, just don't rate it. Just say I refuse to rate. That's what I would do. I don't see it. Still, you know what? A 7.13. That is still good. That is still good. It would be money. Let's get the community tab up for 1 minute. Cheers, Reece. Got work in the morning. Great review. Thank you so much, fella. I so appreciate it. You're always welcome on here. You're welcome on the channel anytime as well. As is everybody else. Catherine, you can come on next week as well, anytime you like. I also want to say something as well before we wrap up tonight's show that at the Weekly Steelchair, we send our heartfelt condolences to Ric Flair, who it's his stepson and his wife's son, died today via suicide, a gunshot wound. So I just want to give my heartfelt condolences in that regard. Nothing worse than losing a family member, but if it's your own son or daughter and it's even like a manner like suicide, it is frightening, and it's the sad thing about life, and nobody wants that at any point. But it's just a shame, and it's just not right. So my heartfelt condolences go out to them, and I hope they're okay, because I know this is such a horrible time for them. So I wanted to close the show by giving my heartfelt condolences to them. But I am going to get out of here. So to everyone that has watched, 2 hours, 21 minutes, thank you very much. I will see you throughout the week for more content. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Get your notifications bell on for any more content. And I will see you in the next one as we move into Halloween week, and so much is on. So please do check out, and Rach as well. Thank you as well for commenting. The guy, James, Catherine, everybody, thank you. I will see you all next time. Good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I'll see you later. And Julio too. JW as well. Thank you guys. Bye bye.